the building. What's good, James on deck? Salute to you. Big shout out to the supporters. You already know, man. We kicking off another week. The first day of May. Yes, sir. You already know what it is. The first day of May is on deck, man. I mean, we was just thinking about, that April 22nd fight when it was gonna come up and what will it consist of as far as when it comes to the news. Now we in May. We look forward to the next, interesting fight that's going down real soon in Devin Dream Haney and Vasil Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? It's only a matter of time. It is only a matter of time, man. Big shout out to those who support the channel always, man. Hit the like button when you in the building. I appreciate it. Um, hold on for a second. If you support the channel, I appreciate you every day. Toby Bartlett on deck. You already know across the pond. Salute. Yes, sir. Salute WCS in the chat. We're global. Yes, sir, indeed. It's always good to be global outside the footprint that you was born in and reach across, the waterways. You feel me? Salute to everyone, man. We have a multi-topic live today. It's going to discuss some of the more concerning news that's out there that interests me. You know what I'm saying? I just don't tag along with all the basic information that's out there, especially when it comes to boxing. um, but I have some interesting topics today. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start off with Jamal Charlo. How about that? I'm going to start off with Jamal Charlo. The reason why I'm starting off with Jamal Charlo is because, as you remember, Jamal Charlo was at one point in time due to step back in the ring. Now, of course, the rumor mill was that he was going to face Selecki. And everybody and their mama know that we didn't want to see Jamal Charlo versus Selecki. So all of a sudden, he pulls out. He said he had a back injury. Somehow he was getting out the shower and he slipped on the rubber ducky. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time, he had difficulties grabbing onto the railing, the support railing, to prevent what just happened. So in the process of him pulling himself up, he kind of determined that he had a back injury from slipping and fall. Just when he was about to stand up, full vertical, the rail broke off the wall. You know what I'm saying? Something to that nature. I don't know. You didn't hear from me. Allegedly, that's how the whole situation played out. Him slipping on the rubber ducky, pulling himself up. The rail came out the wall. It was just a whole thing. It was just bad. But he pulled out of the fight. And then we seen, Errol Spence pull out the fight. Now, all these guys are over there on the same promotional umbrella or whatever, right? Then Jamel Charlo pulled the fight. First for a wrist and now for, I guess, total body reconstruction. Whatever they got going on over there. But currently, Jamal Charlo is 32 victories in, 0 defeats, and 22 knockouts. There's a situation that's going on right now. As we all know, the Charlo twins, they've been known to be very vociferous. You know what I'm saying? In voicing their opinions and being loudmouths, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you they can't fight. The Charlo twins can fight. Jamal Charlo can fight. Real talk. But as of recent, us, the consumers, we've been calling for Jamal Charlo to step up. Not step up to the next step to go into his home. We're talking about step up in competition in his professional career. Now, the situation is, the problem is that for a minute, he was whining and complaining like Lil Charlo. What I'm talking about is, it was rumored that he was going to go up to 68, but somehow or another he changed his mind. But in the meantime, he kept mentioning David Benavidez as if he was too big for the 68-pound division. Also, in the process, we the consumers thought David Benavidez Marcelo would be a good matchup. Even Marcelo. Why? Because they don't like each other at the time. I think they made up somehow, right? There's been a lot of friendship kindling, kinship going on in boxing, which is good. But um, they didn't like each other, and it's around the time in Marcelo's career that a move like 68 would benefit him. He's only a two-weight world champion. I don't mean only like it's nothing. I'm just saying it's nothing going on at 160 pounds. It's nothing going on at 160 pounds for him. He didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. He didn't fight Gennady Golovkin. And he didn't fight Yoda Murata when he was a champion. But yet, he was set to fight Selecki, rumored to fight Selecki before his injury. Now, the crazy part about this is that he also was seen. There was a sighting when he was at this fight before last, and he was communicating with Dimitri Bivol about a potential fight, and it seems like he was a little bit dizzy. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he was a little bit dizzy because he was speaking on championship belts that he has never been in ownership of. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if it was CTE. I don't know if it was some type of blood level, something in his blood that held levels just a little bit over the state limit to be, functioning as a human being. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but he was trying to talk to Bivol, who fought Canelo, just to make a fight at 68. Just do it. You want to fight type of deal. Us, the fans, were confused. I'm not going to lie about Marcelo. We was confused as to what was going on with this dude. And come to find out, news broke that this guy was going through personal problems, you know what I'm saying, and all that. And when that's the case, hey, most of the time I feel, a little bit of empathy. I say, oh man, he's going through personal problems. But these guys who's considered to be somewhat of a celebrity, they're above average citizens, in their country. They are. They have basically gained notoriety from their profession, and also they've been on television. But the Charlos is known to have very reckless mouthpiece. And when it comes time to feel a little bit of sympathy, I'm just saying a little sorry, it's hard to do that. So when we see him up there talking to Dimitri Bivol, we knew he wasn't going to get the fight. We just looked at him, like he was a part of the show and said, man, where's his people at? Why don't they come get this dude? And Bivol was looking at him not to embarrass him, not to ask him what the heck you talking about. But soon the conversation ended and he went on about his business. And, people start saying, well, this is signs that he's going through something or whatever the case may be. Cool. I got it. Now, Carlos Adames supposed to be next in line. If you know who Carlos Adames is, he's a very tough Dominican fighter, right? He only has one loss. And we all know who that loss came from, Patrick Teixeira. You know what I'm saying? The former middleweight WBO world champion, I believe. The one that what's his name? Brian Castano beat. But he lost the unanimous decision to Patrick Teixeira for the WBO interim world super title back in November 2019. Carlos Adames' record is 22-1, 17 knockouts. Now, listen up. So, with those 17 knockouts, there's a commonality between him and Marcelo. Outside of them being in the same division, Adames is 28, just a little bit younger than Marcelo, but both of these guys has fought Sergey Derevyanchenko. Yes, they fought Sergey Derevyanchenko. If there's any type of bragging rights that Marcelo has, is he would say, I fought Sergey Derevyanchenko and I won a unanimous decision. Okay? I won a unanimous decision. If that's any bragging rights, that they're going to go with, you know what I'm saying? First, I beat him in unanimous decision back in September 2020, post pandemic. Okay. Carlos Adames defeated Sergey Dariunchenko, I think, May of 2021 in a majority decision. This fight was 10 rounds, Vice Charlo fight was 12 rounds. All right. And also, if you want to zip it up and read real petty, you know what I'm saying? Charlo is undefeated. Mar Charlo is undefeated. And Carlos Adames has one loss. Like I said, he lost to Patrick Teixeira. Besides that, he's a pretty qualified middleweight to step in there with Mar Charlo from Dominican Republic. I find it as a very, very solid fight. I find it a very tough challenge for Mar Charlo that needs to be on his A game if he's going to step in there and fight a tough, gritty boxer like Carlos Adames, man. And he's not even 30 yet. He's not even 30. He has pretty good height on him, just like Charlo, 5'11", 73-inch reach. And, he has a pretty solid, respectable KO ratio. This is going to be a good fight. But with that said, let WCS break this down after I get to the chat. Shout out to the Lost Art of Boxing on deck. Q in the building. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What's good with you? The OG Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more on deck. What it do, Bruce? Mr. Pass on deck. What's good? What's good? So the controversy, it's controversy attached to this, right? Because that's what the Charlos bring most of the time, right? So Jamal Charlo, like I said, he dropped out. And he just recently was on camera, and he was very monotone. You know what I'm saying? He was seems like at peace. His conversation was much more settled. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get the static like we usually do. You know what I'm saying? When you cut on them old bubble back TVs, I forgot. Most of y'all in the audience, 90% of y'all in the audience don't know what a bubble back is. But, when I was growing up, we had bubble back TVs. We had to move the antenna around to get the picture. And sometimes we broke the antenna off by mistake. It got bad. We had to go get a co-hanger. Jamal Charlo sometimes give us the static when you asking simple questions. You know what I'm saying? You can guarantee to get the static from him. But I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But when he did this most recent interview in somewhat like a media scrum post-fight of the Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight, he was pretty monotone again, right? And one thing he said, hey, I'd like to thank y'all. I was going through some personal stuff. I'm back, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm back from the personal stuff. I got my mind clear and everything. I said, oh, wow. This is new. Like, Mar Charlo has always been somewhat like the more calmer Charlo. Mel is the live wire. But both of them together, you can't tell them apart. You can't tell them apart, dog. Both of them are chit chatter. But he said he has everything together now. You know what I'm saying? He's found his center, his zen, and he seems like he's ready to step back in the square. But it's not going to be versus Carlos Adames. And you know what Carlos Adames had to say about it? He wasn't happy, y'all. You know what Carlos Adames said? He's supposed to have been the one that Charlo faced coming back. He said, you know what? Jamal Charlo a coward. He called Jamal Charlo a coward. A coward. Jamal Charlo has 32 victories and 0 defeats, 22 knockouts. He's supposed to return to the ring June of 2022. But unfortunately, he was forced to withdraw due to a lingering back injury, y'all. He is the current reigning defending WBC titles at the middleweight division of 160 pounds. Adames is on record, y'all. It's coming in here with verbal nefarious intentions. He said Charlo's a chicken. He's a coward. All he does is talk a lot of ish. He make all these excuses that he has all these injuries and that he's sick, but he doesn't want to fight with any good fighters. Is he right, y'all? Once again, Adama said Charlo is a chicken. He's a coward. All he does, and that was to fighthype.com. All he does is talk a lot of ish. He make all the excuses that he has all these injuries and that he's sick, but he doesn't want to fight with any good fighters. So moving forward, Adames has announced his return, that he would not be the first one on deck with Charlo. Now, boxing scene goes on to say he's feeling acrimonious over the entire ordeal with Mal Charlo. Adames will attempt to defend his interim title on June 24th against former junior middleweight unified champion J-Rock Julian Williams. Though he isn't looking past Williams, Adames is extremely confident that he'll run through his upcoming foe. He said he'll run through J-Rock. Adames said he's going to run through J-Rock, bro. Like a blade to hot cheese. You know what I'm saying? In short term, the Dominican-born fighter is keeping a close eye on Charlo. What Adames wants more than anything is an accelerator button as he grows sick and tired of twiddling his thumbs while waiting for Charlo to pick up the phone and give him a call. Just hurry up and fight me already. That's what Carlos Adames said. Just hurry up and fight me already. So, look, when I hear things like this, I say that's typical boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's typical boxing at the end of the day because Charlo has been known to, maneuver very well. You drive through the obstacle course and the cones very smoothly. You know what I'm saying? They have been known in some cases, especially Jamal, to drift around, some of these tough names that's been out there for them. He's making excuses. We heard him make excuses on the David Benavidez situation, which would be extremely tough for him. Adames at his own weight, 160 pounds, would be extremely tough. I don't know what Jamal Charlo is trying to do, but what I can say is, at one point in time, Jamal Charlo had mentioned that he can come down to 154 and fight Bud. So I'm pretty confused on what his direction is in his boxing life. You know what I'm saying? Is he set mentally, physically to challenge himself? You know what I'm saying? When he returns back to the square, would it be with the name that we respect and that we was anticipating? Can the possibility present itself that it'll be Demetrius Andrade? I hope so. You know what I'm saying? I hope so. But y'all keep your eyes on, eyes open. You know what I'm saying? Keep the optics clear. And we will talk about this at a later date with Carlos Adames and Jamal Charlo. This is not the first boxer that doesn't like Jamal Charlo. You know what I'm saying? We have seen the constant reels of him and David Benavidez going at each other. You know what I'm saying? At fights. Since it was a sighting that they have made up. They was communicating with each other without security and all that. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I guess Benavidez stepping in there with Caleb Plant, right? And getting the victory. I guess it kind of pulled the respect out of Charlo. And then the fact that Charlo is returning back to the sport after going through his personal issues, people might be looking at him as a little bit like, okay, I understand the reason why you was acting the way you was acting because you was going through some personal stuff and this, that, and the other. I know what that meant. I know what that is. I was going through my personal stuff at one point in time too, and my obstacles and adversities. I feel you, brother. Maybe we can fight in the future, blase, blase. That's where we at. So just keep your eyes open for that. Let's move on to the main topic with the multi-division champion Floyd Money Mayweather, TBE, a legend of this era, it was a you know what I'm saying? It was one of those deals where it was a pleasure to be able to see him in his prime, when he was at the super featherweight division and work his way up the chain, even from the Olympics. I hate what happened to to the legend, but it happened to some of our legends, you know what I'm saying? That getting screwed over in the Olympics. But speaking of TBE, his name has recently surfaced in the conversation of Canelo Alvarez. As you all know, there's just been a lot of different behavior going on after the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia rehydration. And we all know that when it comes down to it, people are always talking about the operas Mirandi. They always want to talk about the format, but they pick and choose on who they want to speak on it with. Look, that has been an operas Mirandi in boxing for quite some time with this catchweight. It's just the people that choose to speak on certain fighters who's doing it, right? So recently, Gervonta Davis had a rehydration of Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia, the one who made a big deal of it. But being that he is attached, he has an umbilical connection to Floyd Mayweather, the legend himself, right? Who also fought a fighter at a catchweight that everybody remember. Floyd Mayweather, 50-0. Everybody knows who he is. Nothing can be said. Like if you mention Floyd Mayweather to somebody and they say, no, I don't. Then you have to ask yourself, well, where were you born? First of all, let's establish residence. Where were you born? How long have you been over here? You know what I'm saying? You have to look at their age and everything else. I don't know, but you have to factor in some things that may not be online. But we know tying these two together, Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez, they do have something in common. They have placed rehydration or catch weights on their opposition at one point in time. Yes, they have did it. So let's talk about the recent news that Canelo Alvarez has spoken about. And you're saying to yourself, why all of a sudden these fighters are just coming up with information? Mario Barrios coming up. Well, I had a rehydration clause too, but I just didn't say anything about it. I didn't want to use that as no excuse. So everybody was coming out wanting to be repenters. They wanted to be a voice. Since we're talking about rehydration, I just want to make it perfectly clear, you know what I'm saying, for all the boxers that have went through what I went through. I'm in the I too movement. I too was subjected to a rehydration clause. Everybody was just coming out here, bro. So a recent article came out with Canelo Alvarez speaking about Floyd Mayweather. Now, anybody and everybody who's close to the sport knows that Canelo's infamous moment was when he stepped in there with then superstar Floyd Mayweather, who was much older, and they thought Saul Canelo Alvarez would be the one to dethrone Floyd Mayweather at that time. Now, granted, there has been extreme amount of controversy with people just being selective with their amnesia and trying to say, oh, Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo when he was green. Now, we're going to get to the green part now. All right. Usually green means something's molded. It's not ripe. You know what I'm saying? Either or, however you want to juggle it. It's not ripe. You know what I'm saying? Or it's overripe. It's rotting. In this case, we're talking about it wasn't supposedly ripe yet when Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather. So in this recent article on Boxing News 24, they said Canelo and Mayweather, they offered me to fight when I was 18. Canelo Alvarez reveals that Floyd Mayweather Jr. offered to fight him when he was just 18 years old, when he was a fledgling 4-year professional with only 4 years of experience. Okay? Fledgling. He wasn't ready. He was still inexperienced, an apprentice in boxing, Tyro. It goes on to say Canelo, wising his trainer Eddie Reynoso advised him against taking the fight against then prime version of Mayweather. All right. Now it gets a little tricky because we're talking about the hocus pocus of language. You have to pay attention to the characters, the phonetic characters. Okay. Pay attention to the language. Carlos Wise and trainer Eddie Reynoso advised him against taking the fight against then prime version of Mayweather and chose to wait, which is what the popular Mexican fighter did. All right. It gets interesting. Alvarez said Mayweather offered him $1 million to take the fight at the time. Look, 18 years old. Just process that. You can keep your eyes open and close them. Just process that. 1 million at 18 years of age. 1 million at 18. Now, granted, I need to make you aware of something after I finish reading this paragraph. He offered him 1 million to take the fight at the time. Okay. At this time, Canelo was 18 years old. So 4 years later, Boxing News 24, the language is put out there and they said 4 years later, still vastly inexperienced and never having fought quality opposition, the 22-year-old Canelo fought Mayweather in 2013 at the age of 22, making 10 times the amount. So what I see here is that they're trying to act like the $1 million offer at 18 for Canelo Alvarez wasn't enough money. Hold tight. Isn't that what we talk about all the time? Money, 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 right? So since boxing is about the business, they tried to devalue Mayweather offering Canelo 1 million for a fight when he haven't did anything. Boxing News says it. He hasn't did anything. Never having fought quality opposition. But at 18 years old, he was offered $1 million to fight Floyd Mayweather. So he must have had something, right? Okay, moving forward. Canelo fought Mayweather in 2013 at age 22, making 10 times that amount. Canelo official purse was $5 million, while Mayweather got $41 million. Unfortunately for Canelo, it didn't end well for him as he was taken to school by the 36-year-old Mayweather, losing a 12-round majority decision by the scores. Now, one of these scorecards, 114 to 114, was by CJ Ross. See, CJ, you have to, somebody should have did a pat down and see if his pockets was nice and fluffed up during that fight, because his score read 114, 114, whereas other judges scored at 116, 112, 117, 11. Not to mention, listeners, Canelo Alvarez's record right now is 58 victories, 2 defeats, 2 draws. All right, with 39 knockouts. When he fought Floyd Mayweather, do you want to know what his record was at the time? Do y'all want to know what his record was for him to be considered have not fought any really experienced fighters? Let's talk about it, okay? Because this is very important when people choose to give or not to give recognition to certain people by tearing down a person that just didn't succeed when giving or provided the opportunity. And that was Canelo Alvarez. He didn't succeed in shutting down Floyd Mayweather. He didn't. He fought Floyd Mayweather back in September 14, 2013. All right. You remember, they offered him the fight at 18 years old. He ended up fighting Floyd Mayweather when he was 22. So let's go back to some of these names that really just didn't do it for, some of the people saying he ain't fought nobody. He has Carlos Baldomir, that was that 150, 53 and a half. You know what I'm saying? Indu, Matthew Hatton, Randy Rhodes, Alfonso Gomez, Kermit Cintron, who was 33-4-1 at the time. Shane Mosley, who was 46-7-1. I don't really have to go into that now. Come on, man. Josecito Lopez, who was 30-4 at the time. Austin Trout, okay, it gets interesting. He fought Austin Trout when Austin Trout was undefeated. All right, because the narrative and the banter that they was putting out there was that initially when Floyd Mayweather offered him $1 million, he wasn't ready. He was an apprentice in boxing, a tyro. So really, the only name that stand out really, I'm not dogging Sugar Shane Mosley, Josecito Lopez, Kermit Cintron, but when it comes to undefeated records, Austin Trout, which is a very slick fighter, he fought Austin Trout and won a unanimous decision. Then he got Floyd Mayweather. At this point in time, he was 22 years old. Do you want to know how many fights Canelo Alvarez had when he fought Floyd Mayweather? He was 42-0, y'all. Didn't they say Floyd was 36? Canelo was 22 years old. Floyd was 14 years older than the Mexican phenom. He was 14 years older than the Mexican phenom who had a second chance at attempting to dethrone Floyd Mayweather. Eddie Reynoso is on record as saying, no, you're not ready. Because the language makes it seem like, oh, he wasn't getting paid enough money, even though he haven't really earned that ticket to get paid $1 million, right? But they made it seem like, oh, hold out. Be patient. $1 million. Nah, wait. If you fight in 4 years from now, you will get 10 times more than that. Right? So when he finally stepped in the ring with Floyd, he was 42-0. Like I always tell you, Canelo's record right now as it sits, he has 34 fights in Mexico. But when it was time for him to accept the offer of $1 million at 18 years old, have not fought anyone up to that point where, we can have a cool debate and say, you know what? I understand why Floyd offered him that. He was just a rising Mexican fighter who was supposed to be the next great, which he's proven to be that. But heading into this fight with Floyd, though, who was 36 and Canelo was 22, it was supposed to be the opportune time. Because when they offered the fight at 18, he wasn't ready. They let him, age Floyd out. I think that was the real deal right there. They wanted Floyd Mayweather to get a little bit older and fight him then. And they fought him when he was 36 years old. Canelo was supposed to be a lot more experienced in 4 years now. That's 12 months in a year, right? That's 48 months, supposedly, right? He had 4 years to go back in there and have his go with Floyd Mayweather. And it was an absolute clinic. See, when you read these articles, depending on who's the author, they try to word these and try to cover up. They try to put jelly on top. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to put jelly on top and smooth it all out and make it sweet. But they turned down $1 million initially when they was offered by Floyd. And supposedly they wanted to hold out because it was all about the money. But they held out because Canelo Alvarez was not ready. He wasn't ready for somebody like Floyd. So since they now know that Floyd has interest in fighting Canelo Alvarez at the time, what did they do? They held out, fought some more names, build up, the interest of some of those names like Sugar Shane, Kermit Cintron, Austin Trout, and so forth. And then they stepped back in there 4 years later when Floyd was much older. And he absolutely clinicked Canelo Alvarez, y'all. He put on a clinic with Canelo Alvarez. And like I said, Craig Metcalf scored at 117, 111. Dave Moretti, 116, 112. And CJ Ross, it always has to be one. He scored at 114, 114. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Floyd Mayweather for going in there and putting on a demonstration as to why he's one of the best to do it this era, a legend in the sport. Because he pretty much clinic Saul Canelo Alvarez, who and look, who pretty much punched his ticket. His adversity ended up being his prize. Because though he was in there with the clinic of Floyd Mayweather, every fight after that, no one can really touch Canelo. Like his career grew and grew and grew in professional ranks. Like he became the cash cow of boxing. For a long time, Floyd Mayweather was the only one that ever beat Canelo Alvarez. For a long time, I know deep down when he's out there, you know what I'm saying, behind those doors, living the affluent life that he's earned, you know, from that $1 million submission that they try to get him to fight, being that he's since surpassed that and he doesn't even think about the money aspect of it. I'll tell you what, he does think about Floyd Mayweather and being unable to get a rematch with him. See, that's what happens when you attempt to say, you know what, let's be strategic about this. You're not ready for Floyd Mayweather right now. We're going to hold off. And that million is going to turn to multi-millions. I look at it like this. You could have fought that man. And what if you could have earned a rematch to try to go in there? You could have got $1 million. And then, according to how you look, you would have went the distance, which you did go the distance when you fought him. Then you go back in there again for a rematch and make even more money. But deep down inside, I look at it like this. I know Canelo always wanted the rematch with Floyd. But that's what happened when cherry picking going wrong. Because y'all cherry picked Floyd Mayweather because he was getting older. And then when you stepped in there when he was 36 years old, he still gave you the absolute business. The absolute business. He taught Canelo a full-blown course on boxing one-on-one, people. He gave Canelo Alvarez a full-blown boxing education one-on-one. And you know, Canelo never forgot it, bro. He always wanted to go back in there with Floyd Money Mayweather and run it back. He wanted to run it back. He never could get it. He always wanted to run that back. If he could have went in there and gave Floyd Mayweather his first loss, man, look, Canelo would be untouchable. If he could have just been the one that gave Floyd that 49-1. If Floyd would somehow, some way say, you know what, they trying to offer me how much to fight Canelo? You trying to say I can get 100+ million? A 200? You know what I'm saying? Some absurd amount of money to offer Floyd Mayweather to get back in there. It just was never going to happen, because one thing we know about Floyd is that he understands not to return to certain things, because that legacy itself will continue to blossom years upon years upon years upon years. Just like Rocky Marciano. There's plenty of fighters that got out the sport undefeated. But with Floyd Mayweather, he wanted to break Rocky Marciano's record. The way he did it with his 50th professional fight, it will always be up for debate. But when Floyd really retires and he's not doing exhibitions, this 50-0 is going to be in the conversation of the new ones. You know what I'm saying? The youngins that's coming up and talking about boxing. And they're going to talk about how Floyd was 50-0 and his credentials and what he was able to achieve in his boxing career. Yeah. But Canelo Alvarez, man, I believe deep down inside they try to age, Mayweather out, come back when he was much older, much stronger. You know what I'm saying? Much more experienced, much smarter. His ring IQ had a bit more curriculum to it. He had a little bit of time to pick up some more credits. You feel me? Before he stepped in there with that core class that he got from Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd gave him a core class. This wasn't general studies. General studies is just stuff that you can go in there and pass. Okay, I'm good with that. That's easy. But this was a core. He got a lesson put on him. And I know deep down in his heart, he always wanted to come back for, hoping Floyd would just say, yes, I'm willing to fight Canelo Alvarez. What the money looking like? No, Floyd stayed away from that fight. I don't think he stayed away from that fight because he didn't think he can beat him. I just think he looked at it like, I know where I'm at. I know where my hands are right now. I know which fights I want to fight. And that's what I'm going to do. Because it would have been a tough fight with him stepping back in there with Canelo. But for those of you that sit up here and say Canelo was green, he was 42-0. This man was damn near at 50 fights. He was only 8 fights off when he stepped in there at 22 years old. Do you know the frequency? God damn. The frequency of him fighting and picking up all those fresh, ripe tomatoes out the garden over there in Mexico. I mean, he was really what you call in the garden, plowing, 42-0. And he steps in there with Floyd Mayweather, and they attempt to say that he was too green. Nah. You wanted it to be that way. 18, y'all wasn't confident. 22, you felt it was time. You punched the clock, and you didn't get the win. But yet people looked at it like, okay, you stepped in there, and your career blasted off from there. Salute to you. Canelo's a legend too, man. Salute to Canelo. Salute to Canelo, bro. He did what he had to do, but more so salute to Floyd for being the master magician that he is, the master boxer, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Defensive Etiquette himself. Salute. Al Money on deck. What's good? I saw that on the Zone. They had the making of Canelo Alvarez when he rewatched the Floyd fight. Canelo said Eddie told him that he would get 10 times that amount later on down the line. Had to let that marinate to increase the bag. Listen, it's good to talk that in hindsight. How can you say you're going to get 10 times that amount of money down the line when you don't even know your value? It's easy to say that in hindsight because you lost. But if you don't have any value, and anybody who look on this record, like I just gave you some very common names that you might be able to attach yourself to, right? When it comes to boxing. If you didn't have value as a fighter, like we see today, we see a lot of these fighters that has records that's over 20 professional wins, but they haven't fought nobody, right? So imagine being Canelo Alvarez who don't have a name. He really don't have a name for himself. So if they offer him $1 million, you think Eddie Reynoso was the mastermind to say, no, just hold out? How do you even know you're going to get the fight right then? How is it all about money all of a sudden when you could have got a rematch? If you look in Floyd's career, it's some fighters that he rematched, right? So why couldn't Canelo be one that he rematched? Take the $1 million, go in there and fight and get a rematch. Look, because the Castillo fight, they had controversy about that, right? What happened? He said, okay, I'll rematch him. Why in the hell Canelo couldn't do it? Oh, because Floyd was much older. He was too young at the time. You give him 4 years, he's much older. You couldn't get a rematch. Yeah, you could have got a rematch, man. You could have did something. If Floyd made good money and he made 40 plus million with Canelo when he fought him, how much would it have been if they stepped in there when Canelo was offered 1 million? when he was 18. You could have took if you would have took that L. What's wrong with you trying to go back in there for a rematch? Put it in the contract. How did Eddie Reynoso say some stuff like it'll be 10 times more? How would he say that? We trying to act like, oh, we have Nostradamus. Just be honest, man. Canelo wasn't ready for Floyd at 18 when they sent him that $1 million offer. He wasn't ready. They didn't want to see that man get stopped. They didn't want to see it. So they aged him out and gave him 4 more years, just like we see this going on right now in this era. Right now, we see fighters being aged out. We seeing fighters being just stalled, put on a burner. Just let them sit there on the shelf for a little bit, man. Just let them thaw. Let them thaw completely out. This is no different. Man, people just want to look at it in hindsight with Canelo and everything he's accomplished and act like it was a good idea. No, let's go back to the reality. He wasn't ready. Forget what Eddie Reynoso talking about. Canelo would have been in serious trouble based off the performance that he had when he fought him when he was 22. He would have been in trouble, y'all. It potentially could have been a TKO stoppage. So don't come up here playing that fiddle, talking about, oh, you're going to make 10 times more than that. No, you would have got beat 10 times worse if you would have stepped in there with 18 with Floyd. And then you stack on 4 more years and come in there. Oh, this is the window we've been waiting on. Let's go. And you already seen what played out. But they can say what they want to say, though, y'all. Man, that ain't nah. I don't accept that. That's just looks good. That's just like a band-aid. You know what I'm saying? That was one of those band-aids you just put on something just so you can dress it up real nice and so people don't see the scar. But Canelo still got a scar from that loss to Floyd. He's scarred from that. Eddie Reynoso just trying to put a couple of band-aids over that scar just so y'all won't see the tissue. Oh man, look at that. That swelled up pretty good. Why is it hasn't healed any better than that? Well, Soul never quite got over it. Every now and then, he just scratches and it just opens up, man, and he just have bad days. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Canelo knows he's not winning a rematch. Listen, hey, Larry, they offered a man at 18 years old, and 4 years later he fought him. But yeah, Eddie Reynoso saying, hold out, Canelo. Don't take the $1 million, which would have been the highest payday. The highest payday. We're talking about a guy who last fight was 5 or whatever he got, some crazy low amount of money. And he's going to say, hey, don't take that $1 million. Look, offer a fighter today $1 million and they're 18 years old. They're going to take it. Who's going to sit up here? No, we don't want that fight. Just wait. They 30 what? Okay, just wait. 4 more years, he'll be ready. Now, 4 more years, they thought Floyd was going to be much more broken down. You know what I'm saying? They probably say, oh man, his hands is going to be a lot more screwed up than that, much more brittle. You know what I'm saying? Much more brittle. It'll be the perfect opportunity to sneak in there and give Floyd his first loss at 36 years old, going on 37. Let's do it. Let's wait. He wasn't ready. He would have got stopped. I said it. I said it. He would have got stopped on something at the time. you think Blunts? They absolutely knew something. They knew that Floyd was too talented for that 18-year-old Canelo Alvarez. And also they knew how special Canelo Alvarez could be to the sport of boxing. And Floyd Mayweather could have ruined him. It's a difference between going to decision and being beat by Floyd and then going in there and getting stopped. Because Anybody will tell you when it comes down to a boxer, I don't have to step in there with the gloves on a professional level to give you an understanding of, okay, a fighter lost via decision, a fighter got knocked out in one of his biggest fights to jumpstart his career. He got stopped. Which one of those are going to sit with that fighter the longest? Which one, when you out there having a very, very nice day and you can be with the lady and you know what I'm saying, you out there riding horses and you thinking about that one fight. Dang, I can't believe he stopped me. Oh my God. Damn, I can't believe that. Baby, let me ask you a question. What do you think we can do to get that rematch? What do you think we could do? I'm just not going to be content with myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have outbursts around the kids. You know what I'm saying? I literally have PTSD thinking about this. What you think? What do you think? I'm here. I want to listen to what you have to say. What plan can we come up with to lure Floyd Mayweather back to the square? I need that get back. I need the rematch, baby. What do you think you can do? You think you could talk to the promoter for me or something? You know, because just tell him, man, I'm not doing well, man. This fight is not sitting well with me. I need a rematch. He stopped me. I need to get back in there, being a much older, stronger now. And he's right. I'm ready. I took the L. I'm ready for a rematch. Something, man. That knockout is gonna sit with you different. That's why they didn't go in there at 18 years old, people. I'm only being honest. I'm just being honest, bro. I'm being honest, man. Whether you like it or not, he would have got stopped if he would have went in there with Floyd at 18, based off the performance that Floyd gave him when he was 22 years old. Let's be true with ourselves. Larry say the age out is real. They knew Canelo was going to be the face of boxing one day. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man. Canelo had nobody on his resume worth talking about. So how can they know anything? How can we know a Mexican fighter who came in the sport speaking very little English would be the future of boxing? What are you gauging it off of, Blunts? What you see in hindsight? Because there's a lot of good fighters right now. And you can't even get a word out to say they're going to be the future of boxing before somebody saying, no. You can't even put nobody else in the equation about being the face of boxing. So how can they believe that Canelo Alvarez, who lost to Floyd Mayweather, who was that guy, who was that guy? He was him. How did they know Canelo Alvarez was going to be that future of boxing? And he just got beat by the man. How did they know? How did they know, bro? We just can't put that tag on them and say, oh, it's easy to say that in hindsight that Canelo Alvarez is going to be the future of boxing. We knew it for sure. They didn't know. They had hopes and dreams. They wanted him to be built up. You know what I'm saying? He had the goods. They allowed him to go in there and get that sacrifice out the way to attempt to fight the best in the business. Team Canelo thought that Mayweather would be too old for this 22-year-old. Point blank, point to point, and back. They felt that Canelo would be too young and strong for Floyd Mayweather, and he will break him down and get that L and hand Floyd Mayweather his first loss. But it didn't work out. So how in the heck did they think this man was going to be the future of boxing? I think that comes from every camp. You trying to tell me it's some youngins that's out there right now that they believe they're going to be the future of boxing? It's a lot of youngins out there that they can't believe they're going to be the future of boxing. They believe it, but they just don't know how they're going to be the future of boxing because it's so tough. How can it be the future of boxing? You don't think, when people heard the winner of this fight would be the face of boxing and the awe that came over, people said, for what? What? Because they look at Canelo as being all this, hey, This guy can do no wrong. And then they look at Tank and they look at him as the villain in public. But yet they said the winner of him and Garcia would be the face of boxing. No one ever said that about Tank. Nobody, bro. Nobody ever said that about Ryan Garcia. Nobody was in Ryan Garcia camp talking about he's going to be the face of boxing. They didn't say that with him with Fortuna, Tago, Francisco Fonseca. Nobody was saying that about Ryan Garcia, bro. Nobody was mentioning that about Tank. When he beat Isaac Cruz, they didn't say that about Tank because they felt like, oh, here we go. Here we go. He has it. Isaac Cruz has the template. He has the blueprint. Oh my God. And Jim Gray, well, it seems like you're a little bit more excited than usual, but I know that Tank Davis went the distance with one other fight in his career, but seems like you just getting a little bit excited. I'm telling you, Jim. The way I see it, Jim, is that Isaac Cruz get a rematch. We could see the downward spiral of Devontae Davis because he just went the distance with a knockout artist. You know what I'm saying? They start coming up with all this criteria. I just want to say, no disrespect to you, the Tank, but a star was born tonight in Isaac Cruz. A star was born. So, would you consider giving Isaac Cruz a rematch? Hell no. So, listen, how does it all work out with the future, with the cash cow and all that? Isaac Cruz, look, Gervonta kind of ruined that dude. Because after he fought Tank, he felt that his Wall Street, his stock value in boxing has skyrocketed because he had went the distance with Tank in Tank's prime, so to speak. So he's been playing nice to get that second fight. But it ain't about him, though. It ain't about him. I was pretty much talking about Canelo Alvarez, you know what I'm saying? And how they worded the language in there that he wasn't, he wasn't going to take the $1 million at 18 years old. Hey, hold out and take the money. You're going to get 10 times more than that. I don't know when. How can somebody say, hey, man, hold off on it? Don't fight him now. Even though it's prime, don't fight him. You know what they said? You're not ready. You're not ready. Don't fight him now. Wait till he get older. Wait till he tears body down some more. Wait. Because you go in there right now, you're getting stopped. And we don't want that loss on your record as a TKO or a knockout. So hold out. Let him get older. He'll be close to 40 years old. And we're going to revisit this. And you're going to get paid. But the plan didn't work out. I'm lined up on that. They knew Canelo was going to be the face of boxing one day. They knew they in business. They must have a 10-year game plan and a tight relationship with the WBC. We already know what the favoritism aspect is with that. And you know what? I'm not mad at a fighter like Canelo getting his money at all. Get your money how you get your money. I would advise all fighters to find a way to make money in boxing. Find a way to get sponsorships. Find a way to get that extra netero. You know what I'm saying? The moolah, the cheese, the bread. Find a way to get it. Because when it's all said and done, you don't want to be working in the gym holding mitts for a fighter that you hoping to get rich off of, and they're going to be the next best thing. Now, you want to be living very, very comfortable with some type of investments, some type of property that you purchase. You know what I'm saying? Some type of business. Boxing is a lonely sport when they shut it down. When they knock the gloves for the last time and they can no longer compete healthy and get cleared just because they having issues and their skill set not there. They built up all this reputation in boxing and they're going in there getting knocked out. They're going in there having tough losses. No boxer want to fight past their prime, so to speak, where they just going in there getting stopped. Not too many boxers that really was in the sport to be one of the greats. They don't want to do that. Mauricio gave Canelo a kiss on the forehead and said, "I will help make you the greatest." Man, yeah, that mob stuff. Hey, for real. You are in good hands, my friend. You are made. You are a made man. I will forever be in your good graces. You know what I'm saying? They gave him the made man forehead kiss saying you will always be family. Always. That's where we at with Canelo. That's like owning land, but waiting years to sell it. And the value of the property increases and they return with a higher offer. You see that often in business. Blunts, I disagree when it comes to boxing. I disagree with this appraisal. I understand, look, bro, I understand where you're going with it when you put it like in that, when you talk about property value, but boxes aren't property. They're being used. Their body is going through a cycle. Your body doesn't get stronger as it go along. People can come up with these plans and hope it work. They really don't know if it's going to work or not. They can come up with plans and hope it works. They don't know if Floyd Mayweather would have been around in 4 years. They don't know that. But just to downplay it as if, well, they knew he was going to be this. No, they didn't know anything. They knew he would get stopped if he went in there 18 years old because he ain't fought no level of competition to be in there was with the likes of Floyd Mayweather. It would have been bad, all bad. Because we all know what he was doing before that. So they made the choice to hold him out, like I said, keep him keep him behind the starting line. And then they was going to jump out the blocks, several years later when they thought it was the right opportunity. You know what I'm saying? When they thought, everything was just right to get in there and fight the old guy. And it didn't work out for Canelo. It didn't work out. Property is when you talk about property appraisals, it's all about what's being built up around it, where the area is located, what proximity. We're talking about bodies. We're talking about humans. The older we get, the more degraded we get. The older we get, the more degraded we get. They haven't came up with their lifetime pill yet. Red or blue. Take your pick. Red or blue. One of them will give you a lifetime. Which one would you choose? I mean, we haven't got that pill yet. That we can just continue to grow and grow and grow and be ageless. We haven't got it. So until then, we will continue to look at movies where they can tease us and show us what it would be like if we can be ageless individuals. At this point in time, I can promise you, Blunts, back then when Canelo was 18, they wasn't talking about come back in 4 years and you're going to get 10 times that. They didn't think the man was ready, bro. They knew he would have got stomped. It would have been too easy. Look, the way Floyd beat that man down, beat Canelo down when he stepped in there with 22. You trying to tell me at 18 he wouldn't have got worse? Stop it, bro. Stop it. Y'all seen that. Appreciate that on Blunt. Y'all seen that. I sure did. Hey, he's right for that. He's right for that. But what I'm talking about, I just wanted to give y'all a take on Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, and how that whole situation has now became a topic of discussion with Canelo talking about him being offered $1 million and his trainer said, wait, and you get paid. Yeah, it's all about money when it's convenient for conversation. But what they should have said is that simply we weren't ready at 18 years old and we held out to wait till Floyd was a little bit older and to step back in there with him. Yes, it did. It did work out monetarily, but it didn't work out as far as the bragging rights. We took the L in a bad way. We went to a decision, but we took the L in a bad way. And we went on to do great things until the second man, taking a risk. Once again, I will commend Canelo on that. He's all about taking a risk. He stepped in there with the 175-pound Dimitri Bivol. Now, to change over to this with Canelo, it has been on record lately in the articles that Canelo wants to fight, or he's being forced to fight Dimitri Bivol at 175. When I say forced, I'm not pretty much saying physically or someone's trying to speak to him and pontificate that you need to do this. You have to do this. No, what they're trying, what is going on is that Canelo is hearing the gripes and the complaints from the boxing fans that this man is a champion at 175. He's told you he's a champion at 175. Don't try to basically sweeten the pot and have him come down to 168 when you know darn well that's gonna have him struggling, and we're gonna be right back at where we were. You know what I'm saying? Look, this is what the whole deal. What I'm saying, right? It's all gonna come down to weight. This is one of the things that people have been talking about with the Garcia Davis fight. Just continue to whine, but they're not gonna tell you when Floyd put a catch weight in there, right? He put a catch weight in there, and on fight night, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on fight night, what was the weight? What was the weight on fight night? Give me a minute. I know Floyd was weighing like 150. I think on fight night, Floyd was weighing on like 150 and Canelo was weighing 165 or something like that. I have to look it up again. Give me a minute. Let me double check that right quick. On fight night. Okay, so the catch weight was at 154, right? Canelo, the fight weight was at 164. Floyd wasn't going to budge off that. And Canelo rehydrated the 165 pounds for the fight, whereas Mayweather came in at a lighter 150. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about 15-pound difference and a rehydration. 165 pounds. Canelo had the weight advantage and everything on that fight, and he still got worked over the way he did. This man weighed 15 pounds more than Floyd Mayweather and still was worked over the way he was. And they want to talk about money? Come on, it don't even add up, bro. It don't even add up. It doesn't add up. Let's talk about this text that was out there from Mike Coppinger, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? Mike Coppinger put out a tweet that said, star boxer Ryan Garcia and trainer Joe Goosen has parted ways after 3 fights, sources told ESPN, the last of which came versus Davis Garcia. The pay-per-view event, Garcia first, was a massive commercial success. He is now campaigning 140, but no decision has been made on his next trainer. I don't think people are too much concerned on Ryan Garcia's next trainer unless it's Calvin Ford, Kenny Ellis over there, because for what I understood, that Calvin said he'll train Garcia and with open arms. They may feel that they can make money off Garcia. Seriously. Because if he's campaigned at 140, Tank don't have to worry about Garcia anymore right now until up the line if they choose to have a rematch at a heavier weight. 140, 147. You know what I'm saying? It won't be no conflict of interest. But I'm just putting it out there that Calvin did say he would welcome Ryan Garcia, welcome to train him with open arms. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. Real talk. So let's see how that works out when it comes down to Ryan Garcia's next move. Let's see how it works out. Um, and don't let me forget that Canelo Alvarez is going in there to face John Ryder. There's a reason why I didn't mention it, but out of respect, he's going in there taking less money, fighting Ryder. And I'm not really concerned about this fight. But shout out to John Ryder for getting the opportunity like so many other fighters wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like so many other fighters wanted. But Canelo, do me a favor. Can you please open up your access, your quota, and for one other black fighter to other than Daniel Jacobs to step in there? Just give one of these guys that's been calling you out forever and a day. Both twins. I know you want a twin on your record, Canelo. Both twins want to fight you. That 147 unified champion Errol Spence wants to fight you. You know what I'm saying? All three of them. You know what I'm saying? Go over there, pick up a bag again. Give them opportunity, bro. That's all I'm saying. Give them opportunity. Let me see what else out there with the Haney Lomachenko fight. It will be this month. All right. Devin Haney 6-29 victories, 0 defeats with 15 knockouts. He is the undisputed lightweight world champion. And number 2, Vasyl Lomachenko, 17 victories, 2 defeats, 11 knockouts. So they are fighting May 20th this month. May 20th this month. Which is a big fight for the lightweight division because Lomachenko has only been defeated twice. Okay. The Orlando Salido, they look at that defeat as a fight that got out of the referee's control. They felt like he should have been more aware of Lomachenko and more attentive to coddling to Lomachenko's needs when Orlando Salido was making an example out of Loma. He was teaching him that, no, you're not going to come over here and try to make history with me. And it was a dirty, grimy fight. So he took that first L when they was trying to make him the quickest world champion, the fastest. They wanted to get this man a title shot on his second professional fight recorded. Not his second professional fight, period. His second recorded professional fight. And it didn't work out. And I'm kind of glad it didn't. Because Lomachenko came over here with all that Olympic experience. But yet, he went through the WBSS. He didn't even want his fights recorded. So he comes over here when he finally wants everything to go on BoxRec, and he loses. And now they gave him an immediate title match in his third professional fight. They gave him a title bout in his third professional fight with Gary Russell Jr., bro. How accommodating is that? You are experienced enough and done enough for them to give you a championship fight on your second and third professional fight. Wow. Anyway, as he continued to travel with that one loss, he fought who he fought all the way up to Teofimo Lopez. He didn't want a rematch in the contract. He felt that, he was going to go in there and dust Teofimo, and it didn't work out for him. But what I didn't like was the fact that he made all these excuses after his loss. He said his shoulder was hurting. You know what I'm saying? The referee was paid off. Well, goddamn it. I hope you go ahead and do what you're supposed to do against Devin, because I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear no excuses. I have Devin winning this fight. Lomachenko is going to have to step up and do something that we didn't think he had in him? Seriously. And this is not going to be a Jorge Linares. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at it. Lomachenko has a lot of miles on his body. A lot of miles. Teofimo Lopez stopped Richard Comey in 2 rounds, and you went the distance, and you tried to get the referee to stop it with all those theatrics. It didn't work, dog. So now you have the opportunity to say you still got the Wall Street. You still, have a little bit more left in the tank. Let's go see on May 20th. That's all I'm saying. No more, no more ducking and dodging, no more running. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they say. Hey, here go additional title fights in May. You have May 6th, you have Julio Cesar Martinez against Ronald Bautista. Let me see who else in here. Jason Maloney's coming back against Vincent Labio for vacant WBO. Lawrence Okolie against Chris Smith. Mauricio Lara against Lee Wood. That's going to be pretty good. Luis Lopez against Michael Conlan. He's back in action. Just putting that out there. Also, a huge MMA fight that's coming up, man. Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo. They call him Triple C. This man was the lightweight. I mean, he was a flyweight and bantamweight UFC world champion, and he was Olympic gold medalist. He's going in there, returning from retirement to face the current reigning undefeated. I mean, the current reigning defending champion in Aljamain Sterling. That is going to be a hell of a fight, y'all. I'll talk about that on another day, but that is going to be a hell of a mixed martial arts event right there. Funk Master is going in there to fight Henry Cejudo. Man, both of them has taken losses in their career at one point in time, but they also have recovered. You know what I'm saying? Aljamain Sterling has proven that he is a legitimate champion, and he was right. He said he was kind of weak on that day. You know, say when he looked bad against Peter Young, he came back and beat him, and then he defended his title. So that's our discussion. No one can say anything, but I appreciate y'all pulling up, man. It's been a pleasure. Y'all continue to support as always. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, man. Turn up and tune in. The World Combat Sports. I'm out.